So a couple of people have asked me to do a short tutorial on drawing faces at different angles. So the first thing that I've got to cover to explain that is to think about the head as a 3D shape. So the most simple 3D shape to think about it as is a box. So if you draw a box like this, and then you've got the center line just facing out this way. So if you imagine, this was a face, so eyes, mouth, you can imagine if you've got that facing the front, the center line would be right in the middle, like this, and the eyes would be like that, and then all you've got to do is to translate that onto an actual face shape, which sounds easier than it is. So one thing that would make that easier, at least for me, is to do some skull studies. So a skull from the front, and this is like super rough, you'd need to study from an actual skull photo, but you don't need all the details, you just need the basic sort of structure. So let's say, oh god, this is a skull. But it works the same way as the box. So it's facing the front, so the center line is in the middle, obviously. From the side, the center line would be curved like this. And the cranium and then eyes would be on either side of the center line, on even spacing. And then cheekbones, the nose, oh god. This is looking more and more like Voldemort every time I draw a skull. Okay, anyway. So that's from when you're looking at the face from side to side, but the most difficult part is making it tilt up or down. So if you look at it, a box would have, the far side would be smaller than the front side because it would be further away. So it would be like this, and the eyes would be up here, and the mouth would be like this. And then a skull is the same sort of principle. So you have the cranium, then the center line, and then this is where it gets tricky because the jaw would be like an arrow upward, and then the eyes would be sort of like this, cheekbones, nose would be an arrow as well, and the teeth would be curved around. So remember, we're looking at a 3D shape, so kind of like this, but better. This is actually and then, so if you want it tilted down, we'd look at the box again. We'd have the top of the box would be bigger than the bottom because it's looking down like this, and the eyes would be further down like this. So if you were doing that with a skull, you'd see more of the top of the head, center line there, eyes would be here-ish. And then you can combine those. So if you wanted the head tilted up and slightly to the side, you'd do the skull. This is why the crosshairs on the face are important. So when people first teach you how to draw a face, they usually say, well, here's a circle, here's the cross, and then the eyes go on the cross, and the mouth, and whatever else. And that's because when you're turning the face, that crosshair is going to tell you how all of the features are going to sit in relationship to each other. So if it was tilted like this, cheekbones would be there, the eyes on that crosshair, the nose, and the teeth curved around like this, and then the top of the head would be smaller than the jaw because it's further away. Something like that. Okay, so I would recommend doing a few skull studies. I've been doing that in my sketchbook because I want to get better at drawing them from different angles also. And then once you've got that sort of recognizing the 3D shape, once you've got that down, then you can start putting the flesh on the face. Even though that sounds Super gross, but okay, let's do that. So let's try doing one just face on. We'll do a super simple wee character. And we'll keep him bald just because it'll be easier to draw all the different angles if we can see all of his head. So here he is facing the front. Then if we want to do a 3/4 view, make sure the head, if you're doing a turnaround, make sure the head stays the same size. So here's the cranium. Then crosshairs, make those curved like we did with the skull, like this. So that's 3/4. Then let's do a side view. So again, put in the cranium. This time the crosshair will be directly on this side, so there'll just be a sort of half T shape, if that makes sense. As you'll notice, I usually always make the cranium too big, but that's okay, we've got an eraser. So there we go. So those are looking from side to side, and now we'll do the tricky one, which is going up and down or diagonally or whatever. So let's do this character looking up. Same head shape, crosshair going in the middle, and this time the eye line will be curved near the top of the cranium. So we go up like this, and then the jaw would be, remember the jaw from the skull was upturned, so we'll do the same thing like this, and then the eyes. So eye sockets again, makes it easy. Nose upturned, nostrils, and then the mouth is curved down like this. And then if we wanted the character to look down, do the same thing as with the skull, crosshair in the middle. This time the eye line is lower but still curved, and the eyebrows will be closer to the eye because we're looking down. Be something like this. Oh, and the ears are a good marker for how they're facing as well. So if he's looking up, the ears will be closer to the bottom of the face, so they would be kind of like here. If he's looking down, they'd be higher up, so they'd be sort of closer to his eyes. And then we can try doing some diagonal ones. So let's say he's facing up and to his right. So the eye line will be up like this, and the center line will be curved as well. So remember, the jaw will be bigger than the top of the head because the top of the head is further away. So yeah, that's the basic idea, but like I said, I would definitely encourage using reference. Especially, the easiest thing is to take a photo of yourself for reference, because you can put your head in any position that you want, and it'll be way quicker than going on the internet and trying to find a specific photo. I hope this was useful. I'm honestly trying to figure this out myself still, so maybe a couple years from now I'll look back at this video and be like, man, I didn't know anything, but yeah. Few people asked for it, so I thought I'd give it a go. A comment that I get quite often is what brushes I use. In this video I actually used Ahmed Al-Douri's brushes, who I've mentioned before in another video. He's just like my idol artist at the moment, but yeah, I'll put a link in the description to his brushes. But the brushes that I normally use, I have on my FAQ page on my Tumblr, so I'll also put that in the description so that you can check out what my settings are that I use most often. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that I want to do more traditional videos on this channel. Like, for instance, I really want to try out the 3 marker challenge, but I don't have a good camera available to me at the moment. So as soon as I do, I will do more traditional art, so with Copic markers and pens, pencils, and watercolors and everything, hopefully. So look forward to that. Okay, bye!